Have you experienced days when you feel so down that you find it hard to lift your spirit? I'm in one of those phases right now. You can call it an energetic shift, a dark night of the soul, or a hermit phase, whatever you want to call it. You just don't feel like moving up the vibrational scale. You just don't feel like moving to a higher vibration. I'm sure we all have our go-to process to help us feel better. And while I have a ton of them myself, sometimes you just don't feel like doing any of them. Because even if they give you a little burst of positive energy, you find yourself back in a low vibration very quickly. So, what do I do when I'm in a space like this? What I find useful is to surrender to my experiences. Now, I know the word surrender can sound really counterintuitive or passive, like you're just giving up on feeling better or just laying there to die. But I don't mean that at all. Spiritual surrender is an active and conscious choice. Our minds are conditioned to fix things. So when we don't feel good, we immediately look for a solution or a tool to help fix it. But this just becomes our knee-jerk reaction to how we feel. Every time when we are unhappy, we want something or someone to get it away. We want to run from this uncomfortable feeling. What we aren't used to doing is simply just sitting with our emotion and being true to what we're feeling at this moment. Surrender is a conscious choice to do what you don't normally do, which is to hold space for our emotion. If you feel a low vibe, you don't have to get it away immediately. You can just stick with it for a while. It's like being trapped in a shelter on a rainy day. You can just watch the rain, appreciate the rain, and enjoy the sound of the raindrops. You don't have to feel miserable or run away from it. I learned to let go of this unrealistic expectation that I have to be on a high vibe all the time. It's really unrealistic to expect yourself to feel good all the time. Sometimes a process helps, but sometimes it doesn't. When you don't feel like raising your vibration and you force yourself to, it creates more resistance. And then you find it harder to rise to a higher frequency later. What's worse is that when you are honest with yourself about your emotion, you risk spiritual bypassing. That's the tricky part about spirituality, right? And yes, I know we are not our thoughts and our emotion, we are love and light, we are spiritual being, and we have a higher perspective. But right now, at this moment, we might not be aligned to that loving energy at all. We don't always act from that spiritual vantage point. And if we don't have that kind of self-awareness and self-honesty, then it's very easy for our ego to latch on to a spiritual truth and make us think that we are in a positive vibe when we aren't truly feeling it. I would rather admit to myself that I'm having one of those bad days than to force myself to feel good when I don't want to, or pretend I feel great when I'm not. So, how do I actually surrender to my experiences during a hard day? First, I like to be alone. I feel that when you're by yourself, you can truly sit with your emotion and feel them more completely. You can even play with them a little. The last thing I want to do is to be around positive people. I know that's what we are often told to do, to be with high vibe people so we can rub some positive energy off them. But when you're feeling low, being around people who are in good mood is unbearable. It's the same as trying to force yourself to be happy when you're not. They might suggest some advice or try to fix you or have an expectation that you should be as high vibe as them by seeing the way they see things. Sometimes you can tell that they aren't really happy and they're just pretending. So I find it easier to be honest with yourself when you're alone because there is no audience to pretend for. You are all by yourself and you are either feeling good or you're not. The second thing I want to address is when you are in a low vibe, the goal isn't to jump into joy and peace. It's actually about finding relief. Relief just means a bit of ease and comfort in whatever emotion you're feeling. And it could be anything that matches the feeling of ease. For example, when you are feeling angry, you have extra energy. You might feel like letting off some steam by going for a jog or for a swim. It could also mean taking a shower or a long bath or just hugging a pillow. You can also take a walk and feel the wind on your skin or just sit on a bench and look at the sky. What I do lately is I like to shuffle my oracle cards. I find it very calming. And whatever it is, the goal here is not to fix your emotion. It's more about seeing what comes out with your energy and play with the energy you are experiencing. And just follow the guidance. Whatever that gets you out of your mind and more into your body and the soul is wonderful. This is more soothing to you than any of the process you force yourself to do. Especially, I find that when you are alone in nature, you are allowing Mother Nature to help cleanse your vibration. Sometimes that will do, you don't have to do anything more. Just changing your environment changes your energy. And you don't really need to do much when you're in nature, except to be open and receive the healing. The third thing is to pay attention to what comes out for you. Sometimes when your usual processes don't work for or you keep coming down to a low vibration, it's a sign that some deeper work for you to work on. Maybe there are some old beliefs that you need to let go of, or something from the past that you need to heal. And you may have missed it because you are distracting yourself from experiencing your emotion. Your emotions are actually there to guide you. They are pointing out to you, hey, this is important. There's something here you need to deal with right now. You kind of have to listen to the message underneath your emotion. Sometimes it might not be even be your own junk. Like, for example, this morning, I just have this overwhelming sense of sadness. I don't know what it is. I just feel the tears streaming down my face. And I have a good cry for like 2 minutes. And after that, I felt a deep sense of peace. And I'm back to my stable self. It didn't feel like my emotion because there is no the story that is narrating in my head. It felt more like a purging of emotions, maybe from my past self, or maybe from deep within me, which I wasn't consciously aware of, or maybe it's my twin flames emotion or my friend's emotion, or maybe it's just a collective energy that I'm purging. And if nothing comes to you and you don't know what to do, you don't know why you're experiencing this emotion, you can always ask help from the divine. You can say something like, Dear universe, I'm feeling at a loss here. Can you please guide me? What's important is that we need to learn to practice humility. Our ego is so used to having control, thinking I have all the solution. I know I have to do this and do that to raise my vibration, or I can just go onto YouTube or Instagram to get a solution. But sometimes we just don't exactly know what to do, and that's okay. What works for other people might not work for you. What worked for you in the past might not work for you now. There is no one size fits all solution for our spiritual path. What you want to do is to have the humility to ask the divine for help when you're stuck. And then you allow the divine to show you and guide you, and more importantly, trust what you have received. You don't have to do it all by yourself or on your own. Raising your vibration isn't entirely your job. Part of it is your job, but part of it is the divine's job. It's kind of like a partnership. It's a balance of your own effort and the power of the universe, a balance between doing and surrendering. I mean, you still have to take action, right? You still have to get yourself to the park to experience the healing energy of nature. You still have to move your body. These are things that the divine can't do for you. But what the divine is great at showing you is the path you need to take next, no matter where you are on the emotional scale. I love this analogy used by Abraham Hicks. Imagine you are driving to a certain place with your GPS, but halfway there, you decided to go somewhere else and you're too tired or lazy to put in the new address. The GPS will just keep saying, please return to the highlighted route. Please return to the highlighted route. Please return to the highlighted route. It wouldn't raise its voice. It wouldn't be angry with you. But eventually, you will understand that you're not using their suggested path. And you will say, recalculating route. It will automatically know it has to recommend you a new path. The divine is just like that GPS. Even if you're not taking a straight path up the emotional scale to raise your vibration, even if you're tired of doing your usual processes and are stuck in a low vibration, the divine will suggest a new path for you to take, while still keeping the same destination, your desire to be joy, love, and peace for you. Your inner being will still be there holding the high vibrational frequency for you. It wouldn't scold you for taking a longer path or another path. It wouldn't stop helping you. So what that means for you is you're guaranteed to go to a higher vibration. It's your destiny. There are so many paths you can take up the vibrational scale, and it doesn't have to be a straight and direct one. You may not even want the easiest path. You might want a more challenging or meandering one because there's so much adventure in it. So what I'm trying to say here is don't judge yourself when you're in a low vibe. Have more compassion for yourself. Sit with the emotion for as long as you feel satisfied. Play with the emotion and the energy, and then move on because you can take any path and eventually you will be guided to raise your vibration. Thank you for watching this video. If it resonated with you, a thumbs up and a subscribe would really help this channel grow. And if you want to continue this conversation on surrender, here's another video you can watch. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!